Hello everyone and welcome back to the Brightworks, where today we will be watching 12 commanders vie for control over Downs of Destruction. That's right. I knew it was of destruction, couldn't remember the Downs part. Downs of Destruction is the map that we're going to be looking at today. A 6 versus 6 going down, a little bit smaller than an 8 versus 8. So that means every player has a more important job to fill. And that, of course, means that each of these players get their own little time in the spotlight as we analyze what they go for first. Representing the red team, hailing from a different game, a different universe altogether, but showing us what he's got in the red Armada outfit, we've got StarCraft Man. 43 true skill and marching on forward with confidence. Excited to see what this player is up to. Headed towards the water already. I wonder if he's going to go for an early naval lab here. Goes for a naval energy converter, interestingly. I wonder what the plan is there. Representing the blue team all the way across the map here, we have the Blue King himself, currently #1 on the leaderboards for the team game mode. It's the mightiest of sheep, wearing that golden crown. He's earned it. It is well placed upon his head, going for the bots in the backline here of the blue team. Already got those metal extractors up, 2 wind turbines to power his lab, his first constructor, his second constructor. Not worried about power whatsoever, and that's fair. Wind power is tremendous on this map. You can see going all the way up to 19 here. Wind risk is 0. What on earth? So wind all the way, I guess. I don't think I've ever seen a wind risk of 0, except I guess on maybe speed metal and other maps like that. Yeah, no reason to go for anything but wind, aside from tidal power, of course, if you're out here in the water. Like, for instance, Alex Ace, who is going to be representing the other side of the red team's skill ladder here. Now, Alex Ace is going to have his work cut out for him because he is going up 1-on-2 against Bare Metal and Boromir. And these players are already out in the water, getting their toes wet as it is, and probably going to be laying down the smacks, so Alex has a lot to contend with there. We don't see this map very often, so let's take just a second to look at it here. Interesting formation on all this land. There are these shallow pathways that connect the land on the right and the left-hand side of the map. Right and left. I do know my right from left, I just have to check my hands every time. There are also these straits that kind of connect from the middle of the map all the way across, which is pretty cool too. And then there's the Navy, which can traverse all over the place here. It can go through the shallow water, it can go through the deep water, all over the place to harass whatever it needs to. So you can really lock down these middle islands with naval control. You can lock them down with land-based control. The option is yours. However, getting to this center island, let me highlight this here. Getting to the center island is going to necessitate that you control either the island on the right or the island on the left. And for the blue team, I think I would give it to them to capture the island on the left, given how this is already going here. We can see that RB Squidums, ooh woo, what a name, just throwing it all together there. Has already moved a couple of grunts across the map here. Finds a couple of blitzes that are eager to engage, and those blitzes will make short work of those grunts. However, the grunts do manage to snipe a metal extractor. That is nice. One of them slips through here, but Silver Soul's commander will be happy to take care of it as he blazers down that last grunt. The other two that reinforced here also got shut down. Would have loved to see these split off in this direction here and take out that metal extractor. Maybe even loop around to the backline here. But that is relatively minor critiques on the back of an otherwise fairly successful push. A fairly successful scout. Why don't we call it that? That's probably safe to say. Rocket bots coming out of a very, very far forward lap here for Trims. Wow. That is right on the front lines, huh? I'm pretty sure he put down a laser turret and then he put down a bot lab. That is insanity here. But it's the only lab he's got, and it's you know, that's a big risk, because obviously if this lab goes down, you're losing all of your unit production here. Janices are one great way to burst down a lab. They can pack a lot of wallop into those few missiles that they fire, those pairs of missiles that they shoot. Tons and tons of damage from every single one of those Janus missiles that comes out here, so I'm really expecting these to be dipped into combat and then pulled back when their missiles are recharging here. You can see them firing away at this bot lab, bursting it down oh so quickly. 4% health remaining on this, and the artillery fire will kill the lab. Yeah, that was a huge risk for Trims to take. I'm not sure if I really like that altogether. Maybe if we sacrifice the commander, like we manage to use the commander to kill the whole army and maybe even get the bot lab, or the vehicle lab rather, or some of these other units over here, maybe it can be justified, but at least for the time being, that is just a massive amount of metal down the drain for Trims. I don't know what he's going to do to recuperate here. Certainly going to have to eat up this lab if he wants to get back in this game. That is almost 400 metal, plus all the wreckages is well over 400 metal that he's going to need to take control of if he wants to stand any chance of continuing to fight in this game. Rocketeers being launched off their feet through the air like a firework. As Britney Spears would say. I believe it was Britney Spears who would say that. Oh, bare metal, not aware that you can't D-gun commanders anymore. Keep trying, it'll work after this 10th time maybe. There we go. Yep. He's figuring it out. We got a real AI commander over here. Programmed incorrectly. It doesn't do damage. This is just sad. Well, that was quite the fight, isn't it? That was quite the fight to see. Apparently Bare Metal did not watch the Commander update video that went out a long while ago. Yeah, Commanders can no longer be D-gunned down. They are immune to D-gunnery. Their corpses are not, however, so he fired that D-gun right as he exploded, meaning that at least one of those wreckages was removed from the map. Sort of a martyrdom thing to do, right? Meanwhile, Mighty Sheep claiming the wreckage of these two commanders who also traded on this side of the map. Looks like that is RB Squidum's Uwu. And who is that? I'm not sure whose commander that is. There's RB Squidum's over here, but I'm not sure who the other commander is. Is it Luke and Duke? Oh, it must be Luke and Duke. Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. It almost looked like a light blue, and I kept looking for it, but I couldn't find a light blue. Anyways, back over on the right-hand side of the map, Trims is very, very low here. Blitzes are... what are they thinking about doing? Blitzes are headed, whoa, all the way across the map. Looks like those were Luke and Duke's blitzes, and they were sent on a mission. By this point, both teams have established some sort of a control over here on the middle island. Air constructors building up some light laser towers and radar towers, all that good stuff here from Snuggle Top, who is in the back line here for the red team, the orange player here. And it looks like it is the sort of seafoam green-blue character here going for the middle island. That's Bare Metal, who was the one who was doing that little D-gunning shenanigans right here. So, all things considered, a fairly even trade, except for that metal that went back into the red team's hands. That was definitely their advantage. Missile ships around here as well as even an assault an assault frigate. Just finished up eating dinner for the night. I wanted to come say hello on the stream. Quite disgusting indeed. Uh-oh. Torpedo launcher having a bit of a moment there. Will manage to survive. And we'll hold on for the time being. A bunch of these amphibious tanks take down the Riptide. Missile ship in a little bit of trouble here. It can greatly outpace all these tanks here, though, so no reason why it should be caught. Rocket bot's going to try and get into a fight here. If you fight the vehicles while they're underwater, they cannot fire at you, so I think these rocket bots probably want to back up here. But it's a little too late. Yeah, those guard pikes, they tore that contingent of rocket bots apart. Nothing left there but scrap metal and heaps of corpses. Now Silver Soul has a nice little control over this center island. That rhymed unintentionally, but there you go. Clip it and ship it, baby, as they say. Artillery trucks still continuing to rain down shell-shocking fire on the purple rocket bots here, being a pain in StarCraft Man's side. But those medium tanks are more than enough to push back these rocket bots. They do not want to come under direct fire from those tanks. Meanwhile, StarCraft Man just walks the commander up brazenly here to repair his tanks and push through that light laser tower defense. And Trims has now gone all the way out into the ocean. Okay, interesting. I was wondering what he was going to do to try and get back into this game. Apparently, he's decided to just switch into the naval theater. Leaking metal right now because he doesn't really have anything to spend it on. He also doesn't have a lab anymore, which is sort of a redundant thing to say, but you get the idea. Levish is also pushing up on the right-hand side here, and that is going to be difficult to deal with. That's a 2v1 over here on the right-hand side. It's a sort of a 2v1 over here on the left-hand side. Although Luke and Duke is not really pushing units at the moment. See, when the tanks are underwater, they can't fire, so this is the ideal time to engage them. Abuse that if you can. No reason not to. Rocket bots walking into the medium tank fire, and yeah, the medium tanks are just thrilled about it. Starting to gain that veterancy, which is not as important on something like a stout, but still, you know, it contributes a little bit. Every little bit helps. DWA's commander starts stepping forward as well here, trying to posture against these tanks. It's a very narrow choke point, so D-guns can go absolutely crazy. Commander here repairing up this tank is just crucial to this line, and you can see that this immortal tank just refuses to die as the artillery now starts to rain down on DWA. And the blue team is looking like they're in trouble here. They're forfeiting this right-hand side of the map, and aside from that, the rest of the map is essentially even. Well, except for this, actually. Yeah, you know, I spoke a little too soon there. The red team actually has a dominating control over the majority of the map here. They have this leftmost island, this middle left island, this very middle island they have halfway control of, so that's an even split. They have this full right island, and they have this full outermost right island. Yeah, this is full map control for the red team. You can see it reflected in the economy here, or we should anyways. But we don't, actually. That's a bit odd. Somebody must be equaling like a madman, and indeed, I think we found our man. Looks like Mighty Sheep has decided to go into a nuclear launcher. This feels like a little bit of a desperation nuke. It is definitely very quick. At 10 minutes and 57 seconds, it's a very, very quick nuke launcher. But it doesn't feel like the most confident way to approach this. It feels like kind of a, maybe we'll hit them at their softest point, and maybe this nuke will win us the game. You can definitely use a nuke to devastating effect if you put it in just the right spot, but we're also going to need some really good intel for that. Now, there is aircraft out here. Are there any scout planes that were built? I don't see any at the moment here. Yeah, despite the red team having a massive control over the map, the blue team still has a magnificent economy. I guess that's just a lot of res bots using their little laser beams to eat up whatever stands in their way, and then the tech lead in the back here, you can see coming out of Mighty Sheep. Yeah, not a lot of tech in the back over here. You can see still on T1 aircraft here, there is T2 being handed out from Lovish, but it's just a single player in the back. It's just that yellow player in the back here who still has that T2 lab and is worried about getting those T2 bots out to everybody else on the map. It's great. I love to see that teamwork, but it means that for the time being, T2 is going to come up a little bit slower. All right, we're almost done with it. 1,204 energy per second is enough to charge the nuke. The nuke takes 1,000 energy per second in order to construct its nuclear payload. So that's something to keep in mind if you're doing something very, very quick like this with the nuclear launchers. You need to have the energy to build them, otherwise you're going to stall, and then well, it's not going to work very well. Your nukes won't be firing. Oh, interesting. StarCraft Man has gone for a very, very far forward naval lab. Don't see any reason why this shouldn't be punished by the green team, which does have T2 naval out and about by now, except they're ecoing like crazy. So we need to either eat up this T2 lab now that we can just build a T2 constructor, eat up that lab, and then go into units, or, well, I don't know, we need some sort of response here. At this point, there's 2 battleships and a skater here. Skater there for anti-air, probably. Gonna be its most useful case there. But now the battleships are moving forward. Destroyers, sorry, not battleships. Yep, they're gonna start besieging Trim's base. Unfortunate, Trim's now losing his second base of the game. Oh, stalling on energy because we're going for a fusion reactor. Little bit greedy, it means your nuke's gonna be a whole lot slower. Now, for the time being, Lovish does not seem all too concerned about a nuke, and that's a fair proposition. I wouldn't really be either. It's not a super common strategy, but it is something you do have to worry about. So hopefully he starts up an anti-nuke soon. Otherwise, we're going to see some nuclear detonations. I say unfortunately, like I don't want to see it. I cherish every nuclear launch in this game. It is the absolute best whenever it happens. Destroyer is pretty good against commanders. Yeah. Is that a... Oh, there's a fish under there. I thought that was a submarine or something. There are fish swimming with the commanders. Well, I don't think they're going to be swimming with the commanders very often, though. Or very much longer, I should say. As both the commanders go down in a chain reaction right there. Suddenly, StarCraft Man has naval control. I mean, oh, there's a Buccaneer out now. That's nice. Yeah, naval unit production was just a little too slow. Yikes. The red team in a nice little position here. If this Buccaneer can clean up these destroyers, then they can eat up those eat up those wreckages or even refloat them if they wanted to. And then, you know, eventually this will be cleaned up here. But this Buccaneer is looking pretty thin. Thin in the health bar region. Yeah, pretty good though. Pretty good ship. It's a good little skirmisher. Does manage to clean up those destroyers there. Oh, but nicely done by StarCraft Man, getting that res sub out to eat up all of this metal right here. 3,000 metal, gonna be more than enough to either go for a tech transition or just pump out a whole load of units, which I think is probably the right idea here. You can see StarCraft Man is actually sharing a lot of his metal back to his team, which is really, really nice to see. That's gonna allow his team a ton of extra income, and well, that'll just be the bee's knees, won't it? Nuclear launcher at this point is spotted. But a nuke is charged. Anti-nuke came up immediately in Lovish's base. Gonna start building that right away. Not charged though when a nuke is out and available here, so we gotta send this nuke directly into Lovish's base. It's kind of now or never. You have to shut down the anti-nuke productions wherever they are popping up. If you can take down their anti-nukes, you can keep them perpetually stuck without anti-nukes here, assuming that nobody has a T2 Armada bot lab or a T2 Cortex vehicle lab, which for the time being neither team does have. Well, none of the players on the red team have. Destroyers going down to rocket bots is a bit odd. Not a engagement that we see all too often. Nuke is fired. It's up in the air. Where are we headed? Oh, it's gotta head right towards Lovish's base. Excellent targeting there. Boom goes the dynamite, and there is all of Lovish's hard work going down immediately. Anti-nuke starts up here in Snuggletop's base, so that's going to be the next one to target. Bunch of scouts are here, by the way. Bunch of these blinks in order to see where we're shooting the nukes at. Oh, lost the geo to a couple of bots that walked by here. Not enough land forces, it would appear. StarCraft Man leaning too heavily into sea. Their eco center is completely crippled here, and now that nuke has completely swung this game. Wow, what a twist right here. The blue team was losing so much land, but their backline really came in clutch at the last possible moment. Hounds are now walking out to the front line for Mighty Sheep, showing us that he's not afraid to do those rapid tech transitions here. Nuke launcher, of course, still very viable in the backline. Where's it headed next? It's headed right to the best possible target. Absolutely phenomenal. Yeah, Snuggletop is in a load of trouble. Anti-nuke did not come up soon enough. You really can't afford to be waiting on the anti-nuke. You got to put it up as soon as the first nuke hits if you want any chance of survival. But Mighty Sheep will illustrate that point for us perfectly here as the second nuke of the game is launched up in the air. That intercontinental ballistic missile with a nuclear warhead on its front comes down, crashing into the orange player's base here. Boom! The windmill's flying up into the air, the metal extractor spinning off into oblivion. That's what it's all about. 2 players down. That's 2 complete base kills here. Oh, and it's enough to dissuade them. Channeling a victory from pure and utter defeat, bringing out the nuke launcher for a sharp and swift victory here. Excellently played by Mighty Sheep, showing us why he's the king on top and bringing out that nuclear pain. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. I know it was a bit of a quicker game, but that's you know, that's just what's going to happen when you have someone this experienced playing in one of these matches here. And it was quite a treat. Let me know what you think about those 6v6 game mode down below in the comment section. I'd love to hear from you guys down there. And I do hope you'll consider joining the Discord, which will also be linked down below in the description as well. Anyways, thanks a ton for watching, and I will see you all in the next video. Peace out.